Have you ever felt totally out of the loop when your friends start dropping slang you just don't get? It can be a little awkward, right? But don't worry, you're not alone. Especially for older guys like me, even native speakers get it wrong. You know, slang sometimes reminds me of this bow tie. I'll never forget the first time I tried to tie a bow tie. I had no idea what I was doing. I twisted it this way and I flipped it that way and I pulled the wrong end, and at the end I just looked like I just survived a tornado or something. But after a few tries, I started to get it. Suddenly, it went from looking like that tornado to looking sharp, like I actually belonged in the room. And that's exactly what happens when you start to learn English slang. At first it feels confusing and a little bit risky. You don't want to sound silly or outdated. But when you use the right slang at the right time, you actually start to fit in. You sound natural and confident and cool. So, today, let's fix it. I'll teach you some modern slang that will make you sound like you've been in on the joke all along. And stick around to the end, because later in the Mastery Minute, I'll reveal one of the most talked about phrases of the decade. You'll definitely want to hear it. And if you've got a favorite slang word or a question about one, drop it in the chat, and I might have a chance to reveal it and feature it live at the end of the show, or answer your questions as well. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this show with anybody you think needs to improve their communications. All right, let's dive right into it. So let me tell you about Leo. Leo's a client I had from Brazil. Funny guy, very friendly, and pretty fluent in English. But whenever his coworkers at the New York office started chatting casually, he'd freeze. They'd laugh about something and say things like, "Whoa, man, that movie was fire," or "No cap, he's the best player right now." And Leo had no clue what they meant. He told me, "Dennis, I've studied English for years, but nobody taught me that English." And that's the thing. Traditional English classes rarely teach slang. Rarely. But slang is what makes English feel alive. It's what helps you sound connected, not just correct. So once Leo learned how to use slang naturally, just a few words here and there, his coworkers started including him more. He wasn't just the nice foreign guy anymore. He was part of the conversation. So if you've ever felt like Leo, wondering what everyone's laughing about, then today is your day. We're going to break down a few slang expressions that will make you sound instantly cooler and more connected. And as usual, don't forget to share this so more people can learn what you're learning. Now, before we dive into specific slang words, let's talk about why learning slang even matters. Do you need to learn it? Well, learning slang isn't just about sounding trendy, it's about connection. It helps you to understand jokes, social media posts, and casual conversations that your textbooks can't teach. When you learn slang, you don't just understand the words, you understand the culture behind them. So as we move into today's slang expressions, keep this in mind. Learning slang is like getting the backstage pass to real, everyday English. You'll hear it in music and movies. See, I almost blended those together. And you'll hear it online if you're involved in social media at all. And knowing how to use it naturally makes you sound more fluent and confident. So, are you ready to get into it? We're going to talk about slang that you hear everywhere. Remember, this is in music, movies, social media. But remember, not all slang fits every situation. You can't just drop it into the board meeting. So, the trick is to understand it, what it means, and when to use it. So, here's a few of my favorites. First one, fire. Oh, yeah. This one is everywhere. You might hear somebody saying, that pizza was fire. Wow, what does it mean? It means something's amazing or really good. It started with hip-hop culture, meaning something's hot or exciting. But be careful, this one is casual only. It's good for friends or coworkers who are your age, but not your boss. So you don't want to email your manager and say, hey, that report was fire. Save this one for after work chats, all right? Next, I love this one. This one's fun. When I first learned this a few years ago, I was like, oh, this one's cool. No cap. No cap. What is that? Doesn't mean the ball cap. It means you're being honest or for real because, well, cap equals lie. No cap equals I'm not lying. Simple, right? So, for example, you might hear somebody say, wow, that restaurant has the best tacos. No cap. And you say it just like that. No cap. Now, when do you use this? This is a big one that you see online a lot, or you might hear it in Gen Z conversations. It is 100% casual, playful, and it shows that you've got confidence. But again, not for the boardroom. Now, this one's a little bit less casual. Vibe. Vibe means the mood or the feeling of a situation. You know, you can say something like, wow, I love the vibe here. If it feels good, if it makes you feel good, you can say, I love the vibe. It's a great way to describe the atmosphere. You can even call someone else a good vibe, like, wow, she's a good vibe. Or if it's not so good, just add bad. Wow, I get some bad vibes from this place. Something feels off, right? It's simple, friendly, and safe to use in almost any setting. All right? Okay. Next up, salty. Now this one, I love this one. If someone is salty, it means they're annoyed, usually over something small. For example, you might hear someone say he's still salty about losing the game. It's a funny but gentle way to describe someone's mood. Very good for casual talk, not for formal meetings. Now, here's a fun fact. This term actually has salty roots. Originally, salty was Navy slang for tough, experienced soldiers. Sailors. We called them old salts. I'm a sailor, so I get it. Over time, the meaning shifted to describe a weathered seaman or describing someone who's a bit bitter or upset, like they've been out to sea too long without a good meal or a calm day. So, next time someone is a little grumpy, you can say, they're salty. And you'll know that it comes from a good old maritime history. All right, the last one that I've got here is ghost. Have you heard this one? What does it mean? It means to suddenly stop replying to someone, to ghost someone. This is very modern. If you send text messages a lot and someone doesn't reply, that means they ghosted you. Now, it appears that this came out of dating apps, but nowadays it's used everywhere. To ghost someone literally means to disappear without explanation. For example, a guy might say something like, I thought we were friends, but she just ghosted me. Here's an interesting one. You can even use this in business casually, like this. The client ghosted us after the proposal. It's cheeky, yes, but it's a clear explanation that, hey, this client's just not interested. All right? So you can use it in business context. Now, we've got a few more minutes, so I'm going to go over a few more modern slang terms that you'll probably hear, especially if you spend any time on TikTok or in music, or even, you might hear them at work if you've got a younger culture. So it's good to recognize these. First one is bet. Bet means okay, or you got it. I think it originates from, if you want to agree with someone, you might say, you bet. But now they just say, you bet. So you might say, do you want to meet at 6 tonight? Answer, bet. Okay? Slay. Now you might, I've never used this one myself. Slay means to do something really well. Like, wow, she really slayed that presentation. Translation, she did an amazing job. Next one, you've got low key and high key. Low key means a little or secretly. High key means definitely. So for example, you might say, oh, I low key love Mondays. What does that mean? I kind of secretly like Mondays. Anybody here like Mondays? Me either. Okay, flex. Flex means to show off. He's always flexing his new sneakers. Like he likes to show off what he has. Sus. You might hear this. Hey, that's short for suspicious. You might hear somebody say, ooh, that deal sounds sus. Sus, I wouldn't take it. That seems suspicious, right? And this one, drip. This one refers to great style or fashion. Do you know anybody who has good drip? Or hey, yeah, check out his drip. Or look at his cool outfit or his style. All right, I want to point out, you don't need to memorize these. Just notice them when you hear them. These words can make your English sound more natural and keep you in the loop on pop culture conversations. And again, just so we're clear, this is modern slang. Most of these are used by younger like Gen Z or even Gen Alpha speakers. It's not from my generation. I still use words like cool. But it is the language of today's conversations, so it's worth knowing. No cap. All right. So how can we learn this more naturally? Before we wrap up this section, let's talk about how you can keep learning new slang in a natural way. You don't have to memorize trendy or lists of these words. Instead, just surround yourself with real conversations. Watch American TV and movies or YouTube channels that you enjoy. Follow creators who speak the way you'd like to sound, and then pay attention to how they use those expressions. You can even keep a slang journal. Every time you hear a new term, jot it down with an example sentence. Then try using it once or twice in a similar situation during the week. Don't be shy. Here's the secret. You don't have to learn all the slang. Pick the ones that fit your personality and that feel comfortable to you. The goal isn't to sound like someone else. The goal is to sound like you. Just more fluent and natural. So, if you're not sure about a word's meaning or tone, just ask someone, or if you got time, drop it in the chat and I'll help you figure out live at the end of the show. Or if you're watching on the replay, just send it in the comments and I'll answer. All right. And remember, if slang feels strange at first, don't worry. You don't have to sound like a teenager to be cool. Slang is not about pretending, it's about connecting with other people. Every culture updates their language over time, and learning a few new slang expressions is just another way that you can stay fluent and flexible and, stay in the loop. So, what's one slang word that you've never heard, or maybe it's one that you have heard but never understood, or one that you love that you're using already? Drop it in the chat or in the comments, and then we'll talk about it at the end of the show, which we're coming quickly over time here. All right, now here's your challenge for this week. Pick one expression from today and then try it out, using it as naturally as you can or in an online post. See how people react. You might surprise yourself. And as always, if you want more examples, there is a full blog post. The link is in the description. And check out the Mastery course to keep leveling up your confidence and your communications. And of course, don't forget, like, subscribe, and share this episode with your friends who want to sound cool and confident in English. And what time is it? Oh, that's right. It's time for the Mastery Minute. And what does that mean? That means it's time to spill the tea. Not literally, but figuratively. So this is a fun phrase that means to share gossip or inside information. All right? This is a newer expression. Interestingly, the word tea, like the drink, actually comes from the letter T, which was short for truth, as in spill the truth or tell the truth. So they used to say spill the tea. This became popular in the early 2000s through online communities and television talk shows. But it actually goes back even further to Southern women in the 1800s who would gather over tea and chat about the latest news. So spill the tea became mainstream after it appeared across pop culture and social media, and now it just means, hey, tell me what really happened. So you can almost imagine two girlfriends sitting in a cafe, leaning in with excitement, eager to hear the juicy details. One says, "Okay, girl, spill the tea. What did he say?" Or picture your coworkers gathering around the coffee machine, laughing and whispering about what really happened behind closed doors. You walk in the room and say, the meeting ran late. Someone spilled the tea on what went down." So, next time you hear it, remember, it's not just gossip, it's a fun way to invite a story. And that's what good English is all about. Connection through conversation. And that's the Mastery Minute. So, tonight we explored some modern slang and how it helps you sound natural, confident, and connected. Next time, on Monday, we're sticking with slang by exploring the fascinating differences between American and British slang. How the same words can mean totally different things depending on where you are. You won't want to miss this one. All right, as always, this is 15-Minute Mastery. I'm Dennis Wilborn, and I'll see you next time. Have a great weekend, everybody.